the legend Rodtang from the world of Muay Thai going up against the legend Demetrious Johnson from the world of mixed martial arts, the greatest flyweight of all time, fighting in this special rules bout. Muay Thai MMA. It's crazy stuff. It's going down in around 10 days. We're being joined right now by the one and only, our old friend, DJ Demetrious Johnson. It's always a special day when he stops by. Hello, DJ. How are you?
How are you, Errol? It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you. I like the beard. We're letting it grow?
Yeah, I'm letting it grow. The wife loves it, so if she loves it, I love it.
Yes.
It looks good, so we're going to keep it growing.
Okay, we have a lot to talk about. There's this big event coming up. But could I ask, how do you feel? Do you agree with me? I don't know how much you heard of what I just said. We do a pretty crappy job of not celebrating the legends of this sport. Agree or disagree?
No, I think you're spot on with that. I mean, when I look at like my upbringing of mixed martial arts, I'm thinking of guys like Crow Cop, Spencer Fisher, James Pulver, Andre Arlovsky. He's still fighting. He's still active. So, he's still paving the way. But there's a lot of guys that a lot of people don't even know about. Mark Coleman was one of them that you mentioned. The list just goes on and on and on. And I was like, maybe Errol, why don't you start that? Maybe you can start like some type of, mixed martial arts Hall of Fame, because, I believe you're one of the best reporters, analysts out there, and your knowledge is so deep with it. And you'll also not just include, you have the UFC Hall of Fame, which is only UFC athletes, but there's been so many more athletes in mixed martial arts that have paved the way. Fedor Emelianenko.
Yes.
And like I said, the list goes on and on and on. Kazuya Sakuraba. I mean, there's just so many.
So basically what you're trying to say is stop whining about it, put up or shut up. Helwani, go out there and do it. You're right. You're actually inspiring me right now. Why can't I do this? Why? I mean, I feel like this will be my legacy in the sport. I'll be the one to finally do this. There's a boxing Hall of Fame. Why isn't there an MMA Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I don't know. I never stopped to think about that question, to be honest with you. I have people who inspired me when I was young, looking at mixed martial arts. Rashad Evans. Mm-hmm. I think he's probably in the UFC Hall of Fame. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of athletes who inspired me in mixed martial arts. If those guys were never in this sport, I probably wouldn't be here right now talking to you.
Who was your favorite fighter growing up? Like your first favorite guy?
Andre Arlovsky.
Really?
Nice hair, chest hair. He had a mouthpiece with the things. And his rhythm, when he moved, his rhythm was just so on point. Crow Cop. I didn't really care for the lightweight guys. I always loved the heavyweights. Crow Cop, Andre Arlovsky. Those two are like my, I would come home from college and throw on, I think it was UFC 54. Mm-hmm. I think he was defending his title. He defended his title against Bob Ponatello. Also, he fought the guy, his nickname was Cabbage.
Yeah, Cabbage Correa.
Yeah, Cabbage Correa. I watched a lot of Andre Arlovsky growing up. Him and Crow Cop. Those are the two ones that I would watch him. The Pride days when he fought Fedor Emelianenko, when it was 10-5-5. That was the championship round. It was 10-5-5. And those guys were fucking amazing, man.
Do you care to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame?
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I think what I've done in the UFC, 11 consecutive title defenses, I think the only people who are close to beating that is Valentina Shevchenko, where she continues to impress me every time she steps in the octagon. Kamaru Usman, Israel Adesanya. But, I think Kamaru Usman is at four title defenses.
4 or 5 off the top of my head.
4 or 5. And I think Izzy's at 3 or 4.
Well, he'll argue about this. He considers his interim title fight a title defense. Don't get into that argument with him because he will come.
No. It's not, brother. I'm King Dingaling of title defense. I'll let you know right now. Interim and all that stuff.
Oh, snap. Don't tell Izzy.
It doesn't count as a title defense. It does count as your interim champion. Okay. But I think those 3 will be the closest ones to set a new record. But when I look at it, it's like, it took me 6 years. And some of those years, Dominic Cruz mentioned is that, I remember I fought John Dotson in January. Then I got shoulder surgery, came back and fought in July and then fought in December. So I was 3 times in 1 year as a champion where I was fucking running. Right? I didn't care. The more I fought, the more money I made. And at the end of the day, it's about making money to provide for your family and go to retire one day. So I think those three athletes can do it, but it takes a long time, especially with injuries and finding the right opponent. And now it's about, what fight's going to make me the most money. It's not about who's next in line. I'm going to fight you in 2 months, motherfucker. I'm going to get you. Oh, you want some too? I'm going to get you in 3 months. Mm-hmm. It's like we need to build this fight up so we can sell it, so we can make as much money as possible. So, and then obviously Shevchenko, I don't know if she wants to get pregnant or she wants to have children. So all that stuff plays in a factor in it as well. But I think those three athletes are the closest to beat that record.
I hate asking fighters if they're excited about fights because it's almost like not taking into account the emotions, the anxiety, the ups and downs of a training camp. But considering how unique this fight is, you're fighting a Muay Thai legend, special rules, it's one of a kind. Very rarely have we ever seen something like this. Would it be fair to say that you are excited for this fight on March 26th?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm excited for camp to be over with. It's been a long one. I mean, we were supposed to fight in December and then COVID and this fight got pushed back. So I think for me, I am excited to fight. I am excited to be done with training camp. I'm excited to just enjoy myself. You know what I mean? Like there's so much stress. I put so much stress on myself when I'm in training camp where the Demetrious Johnson that trains in the beginning of training camp is fucking slick, strong, I'm fluid. I'm firing all cylinders. And the Demetrious Johnson right now is sharp, conditioned, ready to fight, ready for the fight to be over with. So I'm just ready to get in their fight. Like that's just how I feel.
How did you train for this? Anything different?
Biggest thing is that we switch, obviously rounds, so 3-minute rounds instead of 5-minute rounds.
So what is it? 4 3 minutes?
4 3 minutes. So it's 12-minute fight.
4 3 minutes. Isn't it weird that it's 4, not 5? What if there's a draw?
It's a motherfucking draw.
Well, that's kind of weird. Why would they choose 4 and not 5? To make it even?
Well, because to keep it even, and Muay Thai rounds are 3 minutes and mixed martial arts rounds are 5 minutes. So I think I just show up and I sign a contract and I don't do arguments. Seriously, like I love it. Maki was like, dog, you should have did mixed martial arts the first time. I was like, Maki, fucking 35 years old. You think I'm gonna go back and forth? Like, no, it should be mixed martial arts first. Yeah. I ain't got time for all that. Like they said this is what they want to do. I'm like, all right, sounds good. We'll make it happen. So first round's Muay Thai, third round's Muay Thai, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. MMA second and fourth, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. So 2-2.
Have you ever competed in a pro Muay Thai fight or even amateur?
One amateur Muay Thai fight.
When was that?
I think 2007, I think. 2007.
Did you win?
I did. I broke my rib in the process.
Damn. How'd you win?
It was unanimous decision.
Okay. And are you using MMA gloves?
Yes.
Oh, even for the Muay Thai? You're not switching in the middle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to the best of your knowledge, how will it be scored? I
have no idea. I don't care about that.
You're just going out there for a fight. F it.
I was going out there for a fight, guys. Like, I'm going out there for a fight and have fun and test myself. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, wins, losses, draws, they never change my life, my outcome, my perspective in mixed martial arts. I've always enjoyed competing. I come home, wash dishes, do me and get ready for the next one. So for me, if I was to sit down and look at like how they're going to score the fight, there's just no point. Like, I don't care.
Is it going to be weird mentally to remind yourself, like, let's say now in the first round, you can't go for a takedown, right? In the second round, you can. Third round, you can. Like, do you think that's going to be a bit of a mind F, if you will?
1,000%, because naturally for my whole entire career in mixed martial arts, like when they first presented this fight, they're like, hey, you want to fight Rodtang for the Muay Thai belt? I was like, nah. I was like, I don't care about being a Muay Thai champion. I'm like, there's people out there who dreamt their whole lives to be a Muay Thai champion. But I said, I will fight Rodtang. I was like, I'll fight in the Muay Thai. We can do big gloves. I like Muay Thai. This is me personally. I like Muay Thai when I watch Muay Thai and, when it's in Thailand or lion fighting or K1, they have the big gloves. They have the big gloves on, right? So I'm kind of accustomed to seeing that. So I was like, I'll fight Rodtang, Muay Thai, big gloves. We do 3 threes, call it good, and move on to the next one. Then they came back with this. And so, but it's definitely going to be different. A mind because naturally I'm, and I change my elevation, ready to go and be fluid. It's like to be fluid and just move. It's like I'm stopping my natural ability to be fluid and move, right? Because I'm a mixed martial artist. I'm not a Muay Thai fighter. So, and how I fight is that I build upon the rounds, right? Like first round, I'm moving, using my footwork, using my elevation change, using my clinching, using my wrestling. That's one round of 5 minutes of that, of my pressure going on. Second round, same thing. Third round, same thing. Fourth round, same thing. Fifth round, if they haven't succumbed or drowned within those first four rounds of the fifth round, I typically do. So to say that the first and third round, I have to be, in a handicapped state and not use my greatest asset. Yeah, it's kind of that mind fog. But, at the end of the day, it is what it is, baby. We don't get paid to sit here and, pick fights. We get paid to fight.
That's right.
Remember that, Ariel?
That's right. What weight is it at?
135.
135. Okay. So this is pretty, this is normal for you these days. Could you even make 125 right now? Like if you tried, if you want, like. I could, but would it be healthy? Absolutely not. Like I love just being like, there's been times where I'm like, dude, I'm tired of fucking cutting weight. I'm tired of like, just, I hate dieting because I feel like you stop the natural progression of your body, of its nutrients and the calories that it wants, like we're a high induced cardio sport, right? We're going out there, we're fighting for 15 to 25 minutes. When I'm in the gym, we're training 3 times a day. So cutting back the calories and all that stuff, I've just never been a big fan of it. But when you go to compete, you are going to fight bigger guys. That's just, you're going to fight guys that are taller, et cetera, et cetera. So would I want to make 125 again? No, I don't want to, just because I don't want to put my kidneys, my liver and all that stuff, being 35 years old. I'm a lot bigger now. Like now me dieting at 135, like I'm dieting now and I'm waking at 140. I'm like, fuck, I still got 5 more pounds. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, all right. So this, like right now, how much, like you're fighting in 10 days exactly from now. How much do you weigh?
140.
Oh, wow. This is great. When do you go over there?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, this is how much I weighed when I fought in the UFC. I wake up 140. Then, when I fought Dom for the belt, I was coming on weighing 138. So when I made that weight cut, it was like 3 pounds. And that was, 2010. No, 2001, one of those fucking times when I fought him. So I'm still the same size, but I'm just more filled. I'm just more filled out. I'm not cutting to 125 like I used to all the time.
Right. I believe it. Yeah, it was 2010 Washington D.C. UFC on versus 6. I mean, yep. Look, that memory is just amazing.
That's what I'm telling you, baby. Mixed Martial Hall of Fame, baby. You were like, no. It was this thing.
Yes,
he won like this. So
yes, I'll be the curator of all the artifacts. We have not seen you in almost a year in action. To for lack of a better term, like to sit on that L for this long, how has that sat with you?
Oh, it's good. Man. Came home, like I said, when I win and I lose, it literally, I come home, I do the same thing. Literally the same
There
thing.
hasn't been a fire inside of you to like, I don't want that L at the top. I want that winning feeling again.
The feelings are the same. The feelings are, yes, there's a little sadness, when you're in a hotel room, you come home. But my circle is super tight. Like the people I hang out with on a daily basis in my life, they don't fight. They don't watch fighting. They don't, we don't even talk about fighting, to be honest with you. So I'm not surrounded by the fight world. Like the fight world only exists when I go on Instagram and Twitter. But that's just two doorways. So that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Right. So obviously, I train to win, right? Like I want to win, but losing obviously sucks, but I don't let it, affect my life. I don't let it affect my outlook on mixed martial arts. Like even my buddy Bibiano, he just had a loss to Sean Lineker. It sucks, I've been there before. You train and you expect to go out there and win, but shit, you win some, you lose some. Even after I defended, the belt for 11th time and I threw Ray Borg in the fucking air, caught him in the armbar. It was a great feeling, went out to the club. We all had some drinks, got drunk, and came home. My black ass was sitting right there washing them dishes. So, it's just the fucking truth. What do you want?
Right. There's no like parade. I get it. No, I definitely get it. I just didn't know if the competitor in you was like, I want to right that wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Do I want to right the wrong? Absolutely. I want to work my way back up to it, right? Like I gotta, get through Rodtang first, right? So this, like, when I look at this fight's to go out there and fight and compete and not use my full skill set. I can use it for 6 minutes essentially, which is not even 2 rounds of mixed martial arts. So get out there and let's take care of Rodtang. Let's see how that fight goes. Then, after that, we'll get back to mixed martial arts. We'll see the next person in his line, get back to doing what I do best, which is mixing up all of my skill set, which is mixed martial arts, and then work our way back to the title shot. And then if I get to the title shot and it's Adrian or Yuya Wakamatsu, we go out there, give it our best shot. If we come up short again, we come up short, we win.
Is there a part of you that wants to fight? Have you decided, are you going to fight multiple times this year?
Yes, I'm fighting multiple times this year, regardless of the outcome of my Rodtang fight.
More than 2, you think, or is 2 probably?
I think if I can do 3, that'd be awesome. But 2 is in line, right? Like I feel like I fight better when I'm more active. I mean, when I fight in the World Grand Prix, 3 fights in a year was a lot. Like it was a lot, but it was worth it. You know what I mean? So if I can get 3 in this year, awesome. But we're shooting for 2, and it all depends on my health, my body, mentally. I mean, the training camp for me is the biggest thing. Like I'm such an overthinker that I want perfection. Like I want perfection. And if I can just have that mindset where I just don't care, like I'm going to be in the best shape of my life. I'm not going to watch the video. I'm just going to go in there and fight. Then I can probably do fucking 4 fights or 4 or 5, because you go in there, you fight, you lose, you win, you win, come home, train again, do it over again. Right. So we'll see.
I saw you say you wrote on Instagram that like the past year you kind of put your career, on the, on the back burner. Yes, the back burner. Thank you. And you're a dad, and I see you with your sons. Are your sons going to be like pro BMX riders or something? What's going on over here? I mean, I see them riding these things. Are they competing? What are they doing?
No, my oldest turned. He rides. He does motocross. He loves it. That's the only sport he truly cares about. He doesn't care anything about mixed martial arts fighting whatsoever, or football, basketball, soccer, doesn't even care about it. Middle, if any of my children are going to fight, it'll probably be my middle one, because he doesn't watch it, but he's always like moving, and he talks to his friends about fighting, and he wants to do jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, not Muay Thai, but karate. But I'm like, nah, dog, like you need to enjoy being a kid. Like be athletic, because I think when you look at the landscape of champion, well, I'm not going to go there because then everybody can fucking argue me. I don't like arguing. So
no, tell me. What'd you want to say?
No. I think athletic ability goes a long way. Then athletic ability and grit goes a long way in the sport of mixed martial arts. So, and then my daughter, she's 3, so we don't know what she's going to do. But, when I made that comment, I put my career in the back burner, is that with COVID-19, things were different over there in Singapore. Like for us to get over there to compete, it's just a lot more that goes into play. And at any given point, the government will be like, hey, our cases are up high, we're shutting this shit down. Just like that. Like, yeah, that was just the nature of my career in the last 2 years, right? Like with COVID-19, now that things are starting to get more lenient and the restrictions are starting to, de-escalate, I guess you can say, I'm going to be able to compete more often. So when I can't go and compete, why not focus on the things that I see every single day that matter, which are my children and my wife and the things at home. That way, because one of these days I'm going to hang the gloves up. And if I've always been MIA or not involved in my children's life, when I finally come like, hey guys, I don't have to fight anymore, I'm your dad. And it's like, what the fuck you been the last 7 years? Right? Like, so for me, it's like, that's why I'm saying, like, my mindset when I'm at home, it's home life. That's just what it is. And that's why I made that comment, is that, career's in the back burner at that time. Now we're full swing. We're back into fight mode. And after this fight, I will take that hat off and put this hat on, which is focus on the family, focus on what we're going to do next and investments and all that, et cetera.
So if your middle son comes up to you now and says, I want to go take jiu-jitsu classes, would you try to convince him otherwise?
No, I'll let him take it.
Okay.
We've never, that's one of the things we've done, me, my wife Destiny, have done as parenting, is that we've never shied the children away from trying things. Like we almost promote it, right? We're almost promoted. But the type of mindset I have is like, okay, I look at motocross and I look at, It's an amazing sport. I can't wait to get back on my Husqvarna. It's a great sport. And when I look at the athletes, I'm like, okay, so how much does the average motocross guy make? And I'm like, okay, so he's making, 50 to 6,000. I think he's good. And he's on a factory team and you have your thing. I'm doing the numbers in my head right now. And I was like, there's no point. He'd be better off going to fucking college or working at Microsoft, making $250,000 a year instead of having the risk of blowing his knee out. So that's why my wife was like, you got to stop that. Like, they have to create memories, right? And like, who knows if he's going to become a professional motocross. And if he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. So like I got to have the same mindset that I had in my mixed martial arts career that my children have in their adventures, right? Because if I'm like, man, I gotta fight, man. My life depends on it. What are we gonna do? Or I'm like, hey, but even when I lost my last fight, like my son was like, how do you feel? I was like, I'm good. I'm home. Take care of you guys. This is my main job. And they're like, okay. And I tell them, I was like, yes, I can sit here and throw a fit, say I wasn't ready at that, but I was ready for that fight. It was one little blip, that one little uppercut and that knee to the ground. And that was it. I was like, I've been dropped harder in my fights, from Dodson, where I'm like, shit, where did Dodson go? Boom. Oh shit, there he is. And getting up, I'm like, oh, got bled, and getting dropped multiple times in a fight. And I told him, I was like, it's part of the game. You get back on your horse and you ride that motherfucker back into battle again. And that's what I'm doing on March 26th, riding this motherfucker back in battle.
Do the boys realize who you are now? Are they old enough?
My son gets off more when I jump my dirt bike. Really? Yeah. They like when they, their friends were like, oh, you know who your dad is? He goes, yeah. He fights. And?
So like when you go to like parent things, parties, school things, the dads don't talk to you about this?
No. No.
Imagine I
live in a small town. You got to think, mixed martial arts is not big here I know,
but you're a freaking Washington. Legend, man. You're one of the greatest ever.
Yeah. I mean, here's one thing. Ariel, I was at the gym the other day working out, and this guy came in, he goes, dog, you got the most consecutive UFC takedowns. You got that record. I was like, yeah, I do. How my triceps look, though.
Yeah. You couldn't care less.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I've been able to set the bar high. I'm grateful to be in the position I'm in. And, I never take my credentials that I've done in the sport of mixed martial arts for granted, so.
And by the way, on top of all of those accomplishments, all those credentials, dare I say, probably the greatest social media handles of all time, both on Twitter and Instagram. I mean, Mighty, just a clean Mighty like that. How did you pull that off?
Wait, what?
Oh, what?
Didn't you?
What?
I felt like you tried to inspire me to do that. I mean, you got me Mighty Mouse. I think you kind of pushed me to that way. And then Mighty, I just like to be called Mighty. Like when I play video games, like, watch out, Mighty! Watch out, Mighty!
Like, I put in the call. You were leaving UFC. I was like, we got to drop the UFC. Obviously, you can't be one of those guys. I moved mountains for you.
That's what I just said, Ariel. What I just said.
I was trying to give myself the old Barry Horowitz. It's one of the clean. We were talking. It's right here, Mighty over there. I'm like, wow, that is just so sweet. I wonder how he got such a clean. Because it wasn't always that. Your Instagram was like Mighty Mouse 125 or some crap like that, right?
It was Mighty Mouse UFC 125.
Oh, it was brutal.
That was the thing too. Like even when I had my Twitch, it was Mighty Mouse UFC 125 or Mighty Mouse UFC, and they're like, "Don't drop the UFC because it's a marketing tactic because everybody knows about the UFC." And I was like, "Nah." Then that's why I just did Mighty Gaming. It's like it's me gaming. The same with Instagram is that's the one thing I would say I will never forget about my UFC days when we used to have the UFC Fighter Summit. Is that all the fighters would go to the Vegas, we'd party, obviously have a good time with Snoop Dogg, doing the good things. And we would talk about branding. And the one thing Dana White said, he goes, you guys need to become your own brand. Don't just, tailcoat behind our brand. Be your own brand. That way, if you get an endorsement deal, it's endorsement deal between, the athlete and the sponsorship, or people want to do shirts or whatever it may be, or even my Instagram handle, right? It's not, Mighty Mouse one athlete. It's just Mighty, or my Twitter, Mighty Mouse, etc. So thank you, Earl Hawani. I appreciate
No, listen.
For,
thank you.
Maybe you can leave that term for that Yeah, that right there, the U2s, that's something too that, I traded with U2s. It's one of my favorite ones. And then you get the MMA bobblehead over there as well. So
Yes.
yeah, man, it's about just branding, like just getting your footprint everywhere.
By the way, have you ever walked out to the Mighty Mouse theme song?
No, I never will.
Why not? It's a great
I
song.
don't like it.
You don't
I
like
don't like it. I like rap. I like rap. Get me pumped up. This is gonna be the first time in Asia I'm gonna come out to rap. I'm super excited.
Oh, which song? Which song?
T.I. Go Get It. I used to come out to when I fought in America.
Okay. And fans.
Fans, yeah. I'll never forget what Uriah Faber said. He says, man, if I'm going to do this, I got to have some fans there. And I'm like, you're right, Uriah. But at the same time, this is how I make a living. So I still have to fight when it's an empty crowd. But I'm super excited for the fans to be back in Singapore. I'm looking forward to it.
It was weird without fans, right?
Yeah, it was more intimate. Like it reminded me of just sparring in the gym. Like you can hear everything. You can hear the feet sliding.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's definitely an eerie feeling. Like I would say competing in the COVID-19 era is probably the most like, it is just eerie.
Eerie. Yeah, I agree. I think a remix of the Mighty Mouse song, like a rap hip hop remix of it, would be pretty damn sweet to cap off the career. Come on, someone could do that. I mean, pick someone. Who's your favorite? I mean, I feel like we can set this up.
I mean, the rappers I'm listening to now are Don Toliver, Gunna, that yes forever.
Here I come to save the. My goodness, Mighty Mouse.
Everyone, I go. I apologize to the music over now.
All right, just think about it.
Okay.
Let it marinate. I can't wait for this March 26th, 1X. This is the fight that I'm most looking forward to. Although I am looking forward to Shinya versus Sexyama because I do have a thing for Sexyama. He is just so freaking amazing, that guy. I love that guy. I wish you the best, my friend. Safe travels over there. I can't wait to watch. Do we know how it will be broadcast here in America? Do we know that yet?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can watch the fight at www.onefc.com or you can order the pay-per-view. I believe pay-per-view is only for Asia. I've been telling all my friends what I do when I watch it is I wake up at if you want to watch my fight specifically, I'm a Pacific Standard Time. So I wake up around 5:30, 6:30 in the morning to catch like the co-main and the main event. That's when I watch Tom Lee and Bibiano fight. And I just jump on YouTube real quick, just skip it a hoop. It's YouTube. It's on. They're watching the fights live and it's live. So that's what I do. But onefc.com or the pay-per-view.
Always a pleasure. Always an honor, my friend. All the best to you. Godspeed. Can't wait for the fight. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, brother. Have a good day.
You too. There he is, the one and only Demetrious Johnson. And yes, he gave me this guy.